Ooh, Paper Mario reveal time. Do I try to make lightning strike twice and go for a quick video poking fun at the reactions for those sweet, easy views? Or do I talk about it this time? Yeah, I want to talk this time because I don't know what the hell to make with this one. I see so many good things, but the way it was presented, it scares the crap out of me too. So we're here once again, another Paper Mario game that's surprisingly coming out really soon. July 17th of this year, just a little over 2 months from now. I don't know why, but I always feel like these games should get a much more hyped announcement. It's kind of jarring in my opinion. I guess Nintendo does feel like it's a niche series, which I suppose it kind of is at this point. But hey, oh well, it has been a little over 3.5 years since Color Splash dropped, so I have no worries that it's like a rush game or anything like that. Plus, I mean, it's not like Final Fantasy where it can feel like decades before we see a game launch. But anyway, the title of this one is The Origami King, which is a new threat that is taking over the Mushroom Kingdom, converting its citizens into brainwashed origami versions of these characters to do his bidding. I love that this trailer opened up with Peach being the first origami you see. It sets the tone right then and there that things are going to be a little different this time around with its story, and it won't be another Mario vs. Bowser story like the last two were. Not to say that it can't work, the first game in the series alone proves otherwise, but to me having a third party throw a monkey wrench into things is always fun to see. Plus, look at Bowser this time. That king messed him up good. Plus, I love when Bowser and Mario team up like this, especially since it could mean we could have that fun version of Bowser come back, which in my opinion when he's like this, he's easily the best part of the game bar none. Hell, even the locations look awesome. They looked a lot more explorative this time around, like that huge desert area. Like, I mean, wow, it looks so big and expansive, something that we don't really see too much in these games. And everything just looks so good from a graphics and story aspect. Sure, it still doesn't really have original characters for the Mario species, which is a bummer. Like, why? You introduced this new origami-like creatures for the two original ones we see in the trailer, but we're still not getting those unique designs like Cammy or the original Townfolk? I mean, Christ, Mario Odyssey is outshining Paper Mario in this regard now, and that used to not happen regularly. But it's not the end of the world. The writing still seems pretty good, I mean at least on par with the last game, which was really good. Again though, that opening with Peach, honestly it was kinda creepy, you know what I mean? I think in this regard, we might be seeing something really awesome, but that's just one of the pillars of this game. Sure, this looks like it could be a really fun, interesting, and charming story with some fun and interesting characters, but Color Splash had that too, and guess what? I haven't touched that game since I did a mini review on it. Why? I didn't care for the gameplay, specifically the battle system. I despised it. I hate Sticker Star and Color Splash's style of the battle system for a few reasons. Now, to be fair, it does look like they're trying to do something different with the battle system this time around, with this new arena-like design where you need to decide which row of enemies you're going to go after first. Which, hey, if you can legitimately just pick which enemy you want to fight, then right there, that's a major improvement from the last two games. But if all you can do is pick out the rows and Mario will still end up fighting enemies in that same stupid-ass way, where your setup can be completely ruined and waste a turn, well, then that's not good. If that's the case, they just swapped out a pointless aspect of the battling system for another one. But that remains to be seen. We'll have to wait and see since the trailer and screenshots didn't really show too much of the battling system in general, which is pretty concerning to me since the game is out in 2 months. And when battling is such a major component of these games, to not give us concrete details this close to release, it makes me feel like they're hiding something because they know a lot of people didn't like the battling system of the last two games. And it could piss off a lot of people if they opted for that horrible battle system again, instead of a more traditional one, again. Despite many people saying that no, we don't like it. Why the hell do you keep doing it? Stop doing it already, for fuck's sakes. But we'll see though, maybe it does just look that way. I'd never judge things until I've seen and played it for myself. But the other main concern is, once again, it doesn't look like there's a legit progression system. Now, I know some are gonna say, well, Sticker Star and Color Splash did have a character progression system, it was just different. And yes, technically it did. Usually when you beat a chapter, Mario would get a health and attack boost. And if I remember correctly, there were some items you could find to help boost it even more. The problem with this approach though, in my opinion, is that it limits how the player can go about their character so much. Yeah, Mario got stronger, but only when the game lets him get stronger. That wasn't the case in the first three. Back then, every enemy you beat got star points or experience to help you level up once you got to 100. By doing it this way, it let you decide how strong you wanted to be. Not to mention, you got to choose which stats you wanted to increase. Sure, you might have only had a choice of 3, but you were still given the choice, which let you have a different Mario every time you played a new game. That could not happen in the last two entries. So to come back and do a second playthrough, knowing that I would be doing the exact same things in the exact same way each time, that sucked in my opinion. I'd at least like to have a say in how I play. If I want to be over-leveled, well then let me be over-leveled, or vice versa if I want to try and challenge myself. Plus, again, like me and others have beaten a dead horse over and over and over again over this element, not getting experience from battles completely robbed you of any incentives of wanting to do any battles that weren't mandatory, especially after you collected a set amount of coins. how are they going to rectify that issue this time? What I've seen today doesn't answer any of that, and because of it, I've got no choice in the matter but to be skeptical of it. Hell, they even tease partners this time with Bowser's minions teaming up with you. And hey, great if partners are a thing again. But if all of it amounts to is them following you on the overworld giving you some funny lines, well, that to me is one huge middle finger to the player base, since sadly we don't see them in the battle arenas. People have been begging, and I mean begging for partners to make a return. So if it turns out that they're literally just there for cutscenes in the overworld, well, that tells me the team listened, but are still too stubborn to do it the way longtime fans want. So, I mean, yeah, in a lot of ways it looks great. I mean, hell, it even looks awesome. But if the gameplay aspect of this game doesn't need to turn out to be another Color Splash style battle system, but with no major improvements to the major flaws it brings to the table, then yeah, I'm gonna be waiting for a price drop or a good deal on this one. For me, I've never cared about story and presentation in video games. I mean, if it's really good and beautiful to look at, then yeah, awesome bonus to help me feel even more invested. But gameplay is king for me, and if I don't find it fun to play through, then it does not matter to me how good story or graphics are. That's where Color Splash fell short, and is pretty much the difference between replaying it yearly to a one and done experience. A little doom and gloom, I know, but I think for some of us, we've earned that right to be skeptical with the series at this point. I do hope it's a fun time, and if it is, then I'll gladly praise it for being so. If it isn't, well, I won't beat around the bush. So I guess we'll find out in a couple months. But I'm curious what you guys think. You excited? Hate it already? Or like me, who's cautiously optimistic despite being skeptical? Anyway, though, that was just my quick little take on things. You guys have a great day or night or whenever the hell you watch this, and I'll catch you next time.